hoping to get a little better look at those elk, but not gonna from this angle. They're on the kind of the back side of this. Well, maybe there'll be some more. That one was really blonde. The bulls, especially the older bulls, will turn really a yellow in color. The cows and the calves are darker brown by quite a little bit. But by now, most of them have probably shed their horns. So there'll probably be a few yet holding on to them, but most of them have dropped them already. Kind of neat up here. There's an old cabin. Ain't much left of it. Ooh, there's a sharp looking culvert. Cabin I always thought was kind of neat. The trees are growing up through it. Not a lot left of it yet anymore, but it's kind of cool to kind of wonder, you know, who built this and why, how long ago, all that. One of these days I'd like to come up here the metal detector and see if there's anything in it or around it. But like I said, this is private property and private ranch. They're good enough to, you know, allow us to drive through it like this or even hunt on it. Prospecting is out. They don't allow that. Can't really blame them. It is a gold mine. But I don't know if they'd have a problem with me metal detecting there or not, but probably better not to. Now up here, there's a cattle guard. Usually has a rope tied over it or a gate on it. It does. Getting over that bump is kind of a bounce too. Now, shut this off and open the gate. Hopefully it ain't locked. This cattle guard is made out of old train track, so it's a pretty good little bounce to get up and over that. No, it's not locked. It's just hooked to the chunk of wire. Be a pretty sunset, it looks like. Cindy's brother lives in Wisconsin, or he did. He died here, but when he came out to see us, he couldn't understand what these were. And if you're in the eastern states, maybe you haven't never seen one. They're common out here, but what this is a cow guard. It's like having a gate, but you don't need a gate. The cows get up to that, and their feet don't fit down through there, and they won't cross that. They don't. You know, they'll drop down into it, which sounds really good, but they can be pretty darn dangerous. Years ago, one of the guys I was working for, he bought a couple of horses at the horse sale, and he told me, well, we're not going to need these horses right away. Why don't you get the four-wheeler and run them into the corral and pull the shoes off. So I went to go and run them in, and his old horses, they ran right into the corral. New horses and old horses will generally fight for a while. The new ones didn't want to go into the corral with the old ones, and they ran up to the cattle guard. And I thought, uh-oh. I shut off the shut off the four-wheeler and quit chasing them. One of them got up to it and looked at it and turned and went. The other one stepped right into it. His foot was caught and it broke a leg. And, you know, I mean, the old Western movies and things where you shoot a horse with a broken leg, it's true, and had to shoot that horse and never did find out if he was any good. He just bought him. That was a bad day. Well, if there was going to be snow, this is where it would be. There's a little dab of it over there in the trees. But nothing on the road. Looks like we're homeward bound, by golly. Years ago, me and Cindy were deer hunting up here, and right about where those deer are standing, more or less, I think they were over a little further, there was a cow pie there, same as that one I found with the wolf track in it, only it was a bear, and it was still green and soupy. There's no way to have got it, and then it rained and snowed and washed it out. But would I like to have had that? Yeah, this is going to be a pretty sunset. If it wasn't getting late, I'd prop up my camera and film that. Sure happy to have my truck back and power steering fixed. It ain't leaking at all, so I'm happy about that. When I first put it back together, it looked like the steering pump itself might have been dripping a little bit, but it has since quit. I might have just spilled a little on the outside of it is all, but nothing in the driveway since then. Actually, this is where that cow pie was, right over the back of this hill. Like I say, you don't find you don't find them with bear tracks and wolf tracks and things in them every day. So that's kind of a neat thing to find, really, even if it is a cow turd. This is steeper than it looks. Camera kind of flattens things out most of the time, but I like this road. It's rough and not the best on the truck, probably. Washed out in places, like right here. But it ain't terrible. There's a whole lot worse roads. Matter of fact, most of the roads we go on are worse than this. Come to one like that, you just straddle it. It ain't that big a deal. Tire on either side, as long as you don't drop one down into the middle. A dab of snow over there. Most of it's way high though. Dog rolled the window up on yourself, didn't you? Yeah, that one's got thorns. Can't let them bite that one. Yeah, look at this. Isn't that just cool? So very pretty. Drove down that right there one time. Never again. That was a very scary drive. That is very steep. It was just muddy and icy enough that it was not slow either. Won't do that again. So at this cattle guard, this is the start of another guy's ranch. And then back to civilization. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. My windshield dirty, but that is pretty. Thanks for driving along with me, folks. See you tomorrow. Bye.